He is the most infamous criminal in all of Greek mythology. His name, Oedipus, king of Thebes. His crimes, murdering his own father and marrying his mother. History has condemned him, using his story as the ultimate cautionary tale of arrogance and horror. But what if the verdict was wrong? What if the man who committed these acts was also the savior of his city, a brilliant ruler beloved by his people? The final, horrifying scene of this tragedy isn't of a monster getting his just deserts. It's of a good man, a hero, tearing out his own eyes because he finally understood he was a pawn in a divine game. This is not the story of a guilty king. This is the story of a cosmic frame job. And tonight, we are going to reopen the coldest of all cases to prove it. So how does a king, a hero, arrive at this paradoxical moment of terrible clarity? The answer lies in the rules of the divine game itself, rules that were written long before he was ever a player. To understand the verdict in this ancient case, we cannot begin with the accused. We must begin with the original sin. We must go back a generation to a king named Laius, Oedipus's father. The chronicles tell us a prophecy was delivered to him that his own son would one day kill him. But why? Why would the gods level such a curse against a king? The fates do not weave their tapestries without a reason. The reason was a crime so profound, it poisoned the very soul of his bloodline. Laius had once been a guest in the court of a neighboring king, and there he committed an unforgivable act. He violated the most sacred law of the ancient world, the law of xenia, of hospitality. He abducted and assaulted his host's own son. This was not merely a mortal crime, it was a blasphemy, an insult to Zeus himself, the protector of guest and host. When we speak of a curse, we are not speaking of a magical spell. We are speaking of a debt, a tear in the fabric of the cosmos that must, by divine law, be mended. The prophecy given to Laius wasn't a punishment. It was a receipt for a debt that would be paid in blood. And so the child is born. Imagine you are that child. Before you can even feel your mother's warmth, you are condemned. Your tiny ankles are pierced, bound together, and you are given to a servant to be left on a barren mountainside, to die. This is the first injustice in the Oedipus case file. He is sentenced to death for a crime he has not committed, to pay a debt incurred by his father. His very name, Oedipus, will forever mean swollen foot, a permanent physical reminder of the wound inflicted upon him at birth. He is a marked man before he has even taken his first steps. But you don't die. You are saved. Raised by a foreign king and queen, you know nothing of your past. You grow into a man of sharp intellect and fierce pride, a prince beloved and admired. Then one day the whispers begin. A drunkard at a feast calls you a bastard. The poison of that word finds its way into your heart, and so you travel to the source of all truth, the oracle at Delphi, to ask a simple question: who am I? The god does not answer. Instead, the oracle gives you a horrifying vision of your own future. You will kill your father. You will sleep with your mother. Now you stand at the first true crossroads of your life. What do you do? Do you surrender? Do you accept this monstrous fate? No. You do the most human thing imaginable. You run. You make a conscious choice to defy the gods, to outrun destiny itself. You turn your back on the parents you love, on the only home you have ever known, convinced that by putting distance between yourself and them, you can sever the threads of fate. This is not the action of a man destined for evil. It is the desperate act of a good man trying to prevent it. His path leads him to a place where three roads meet, a symbol, if ever there was one, of a choice that will seal his doom. A chariot approaches, and its passenger, an arrogant, grey-haired man, demands the road. An argument erupts. There is no divine lightning, no clap of thunder. There is only the dust of the road, the heat of the sun, and the clash of two proud, stubborn men who refuse to yield. A cosmic destiny is fulfilled in a squabble of mortal road rage. In a flash of anger, Oedipus strikes the man and kills him. He does not know, cannot know, that the stranger's face is an older version of his own. He has just met his father, Laius, and paid the first installment on his father's ancient debt. He continues on, arriving at the gates of Thebes, a city languishing under a curse of its own. Here, the Sphinx, a creature of nightmare, holds the city hostage, devouring all who fail to answer her riddle. Many have tried. All have failed. But you, Oedipus, you are a master of puzzles. Your mind is your greatest weapon. You are the man who sees the truth when all others are blind. Thebes hails you as a savior. The Sphinx is defeated. The city is freed. You are given the throne and the hand of the widowed queen Jocasta in marriage. You do not stumble into this power. You earn it. You rule wisely. You are a good king. For years you bring prosperity and peace. You have a family. You have found a home. You believe you have finally outrun the shadow that has stalked you your entire life. And this is where the veil is pulled back. A plague descends upon your city, a divine sickness. The crops wither, the people die. The gods are angry. The city you saved is now dying in your arms. As a good king, you vow to find the cause, to root out the corruption, no matter the cost. You send for the blind prophet Tiresias, the one man who can speak the will of the gods. And here, the trial truly begins. Tiresias knows the truth. He begs you, let me go home. It is better that you should not know, but your pride, the very quality that allowed you to solve the Sphinx's riddle, will not allow you to let this one go. You accuse the prophet of treason, of conspiracy. You, the great solver of riddles, cannot stand the thought of a mystery you cannot unravel. The why chain begins to pull you down. Why is there a plague? Because the killer of the former king, Laius, lives unpunished in this city. So you swear an oath, a solemn curse upon the killer, that you will find him and exile him. You become the lead investigator in your own cold case. You question everyone, and every answer is another link in the chain, pulling you closer to the abyss. Your wife, Jocasta, tries to comfort you. She tells you not to trust in prophecies. She had a prophecy once, she says, that her son would kill her husband. But that was impossible. The baby, she explains, had his ankles pinned together and was left to die on a mountain. His ankles pinned together. The primordial language of scars. The words hit you like a physical blow. You look down, perhaps instinctively, at your own feet, at the faint, faded marks that have been there your entire life. The name everyone has called you, swollen foot. The tiny detail you carried on your own body was the linchpin of the entire epic. The prophecy you spent your life running from wasn't a future you had to avoid. It was a past you had failed to understand. The thread of fate was not in front of you. It was woven into your very skin. The final witness, the old shepherd who was supposed to leave you to die, confirms it. The puzzle is solved. The man you killed at the crossroads was your father. The woman in your bed, the mother of your children, is your own mother. So we return to our central question. Was Oedipus guilty? He was not guilty of murder. That was an act of self-defense, committed in ignorance. He was not guilty of incest. That was a circumstance engineered by a fate he actively tried to escape. The revelation, the answer to this divine riddle, is that his true crime was his greatness. His tragic flaw was his relentless, heroic pursuit of the truth. He was the one man who could have lived in blissful ignorance. Jocasta begs him, for the love of the gods and for your own life, stop. She understands that some truths are too heavy for a mortal soul to bear, but Oedipus cannot stop. He, the great solver of riddles, must solve the final riddle, himself. His ultimate transgression was not defying the gods. It was his hubris in believing he could understand their designs, that he could untangle the knots of prophecy with the force of human intellect alone. He had to know. And in the end, knowledge, not sin, is what destroyed him. When he takes those golden pins and drives them into his eyes, it is the most profound act of his life. He is not punishing himself for his crimes. He is making a statement. All his life, he had eyes that could see, but he was blind to the truth. Now, by extinguishing his sight, he is finally seeing the world as it is. He is achieving the inner sight of the prophet Tiresias. He looked outward for a monster, only to find that the monster was the very foundation of his own identity. The case of Oedipus is not a simple morality play about the inevitability of fate. It is an eternal echo of the human condition. It tells us that the pursuit of knowledge can be both our greatest glory and our most terrifying downfall. It is a story that asks each of us a terrifying question. If you had the choice, would you choose the comfortable lie or the devastating truth? Oedipus chose truth. And in his agony, in his self-imposed darkness, he becomes more than a cursed king. He becomes a symbol of humanity's terrible, beautiful, and unending quest to know itself, no matter the cost.